This is Chaos Theory
and Cosmic Chisme,
where we put the chaos into theory and spill the tea about the connections between us, nature, and everything in between.
So join us in unraveling the cosmic secrets and coincidences we just couldn't ignore.
Welcome to Chaos Theory and Cosmic Chisme. I'm Kayleen.
And I'm Ashley. And today we are going to explore the depths of Earth's natural wonders, caves. Last episode we spoke about water and how it has memory, emotions, and its connection to spirituality. Well, water can create too. And one of those things are its caves.
Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe on our Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Don't be shy. Give us a follow, comment on a post, reach out to us. You can email us as well at chaostheory and cosmicchisme@gmail.com or message us on Instagram at Chaos Theory and Cosmic Chisme. So far, we have 11 followers. I know we can do better than that. So just hit that follow button. Keep up with us. We're only going to get better from here. So as you can tell already, our mics are a little more crisp. Maybe the sounds get a little bit better. Stay with us, all right?
Have you ever been to a cave, Kaylee?
I have. I've been to some of the local caverns that we offer here near the mountains, but but I have been to some of our natural cave systems. That's been something we've done for like field trips or family outings.
Yeah, that's true. The last time I went, I was 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And so I am overdue. I could go to another one.
Yeah.
And I always believe too, if you have visited somewhere as a child, you should return when you're an adult.
Agreed.
Because you could appreciate it better. It's like it could be way different the second time around. So yeah. I mean, I could go visit a cave.
Yeah. And I will say this too, that like even in my experience visiting caves, I still don't feel like I fully grasp like how interesting they are, because they kind of give you like the same sort of script and rundown about like how caves are formed, stalactites, all this stuff like that. But I'm really looking forward to you explaining to me how, and our listeners, like how interesting and exciting, and how there's much more to caves than maybe meets the initial eye.
Yup. And I came across this Instagram post where recently a 40-year-old mother was discovered in a cave in India.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And she was living in there with her 5 and 6-year-old. And she has no recollection of how they got there, but she claims that she even gave birth to one of her children in a cave. It seemed like she was happy and like she was okay in there, I guess.
Yeah.
But authorities found her because they saw clothes and stuff outside of this cave. And so they went in there, saw her, and they were concerned about her well-being because of how dangerous it is with like animals and everything.
Yeah, they said like wild animals like snakes and like other predators, whatever, could like, attack them, because they're in India. There's like a lot of poisonous and aggressive animals in India.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But she told authorities animals and snakes are her friends. Humans are dangerous. So they brought her and her children to a detention center where she states that living conditions are poor and there's not enough food. I guess 5 out of 5 cave, 1 out of 5 detention center.
Right.
So
rated on the Airbnb. But it hits close to home with kind of the idea of what inspired this podcast, and just talking about how we've been so conditioned and indoctrinated into this concept that like nature is just this big, ugly, scary thing, and it's trying to kill us, which is not, necessarily untrue, but It's not as crazy as you think, and according to her experience, humans weren't able to offer her a better situation, so, it's like,
Right.
yeah, God forbid that she actually found a natural way to live and that worked for her and her family, so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is a much bigger conversation that we'll be having over the course of several episodes. So another reason to like, subscribe, and follow us along and as we continue to have these conversations. So
Yes. And so I do want to start off is to talk about how they're formed.
okay.
I don't remember at all from geology or science class in school.
Yeah.
None of that.
You kind of just think like, oh, they disappeared.
Yeah, it's just there. It makes sense.
Right,
It's
right.
a cave.
Yeah.
So basically, when it rains, water starts out clean, but as it falls from the sky, it picks up some carbon dioxide. And so that causes it to be just a little bit acidic, and that's called carbonic acid.
Okay.
So it's not like acid that it can just disintegrate whatever, but it can disintegrate limestone, which is under the earth. So it'll start to melt away. But limestone was created from like layers and layers of stuff like fossils and like, back millions of years when like the sea creatures.
Okay.
So it's just starting to pile up and then it creates limestone. And this limestone mainly consists of a mineral called calcite. And carbonic acid mixing with calcite, although not as dramatic, is similar to mixing baking soda and vinegar.
Okay.
So it fizzles.
Right.
So the water will sink into the ground until it meets the limestone, and from there it starts chipping away at this rock, and just like that, after millions of years, there's a cave. So inside these caves, there's like stalactites and stalagmites, and I will never remember which one's stalactites and stalagmites. Stalactites, they hang from the ceilings, and they grow about an inch every 100 years. 1 inch.
Okay. Dang.
Yeah, which is really slow.
Yeah.
And then you have stalagmites, which they rise from the cave floor.
I felt like every field trip that we went to a cave, they would explain to us some sort of way to remember this, and it's not
Not
ringing the bell.
Yeah. Stalactites, I guess, ceilings.
Oh, C as in ceilings, right? And stalagmites, G is in ground. Okay,
There you
maybe
go.
that's what it was.
Yup, so we're learning here. Stalactites, ceilings.
Yeah.
Stalagmites, ground. So, and then you have columns, which is just them meeting.
Right.
So that one is easy. And, there's a few famous caves, like the Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, one of the U.S.'s national parks. And when you go there, they have cave tours, but there's also a program called Beneath Your Feet. And it's on the National Park Service app, and you can walk above ground and follow along with what's below you.
What a cool feature. Like, I love that technology is keeping up with this interest in, in our natural wonders, national parks, and even conservation. Like, that's such a great interactive way to...
For sure.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting to see where you were at.
Yeah.
Where you are and what's under you.
Yeah.
And then there's vice versa.
Right.
So you can flip it.
Right.
And then it is a World Heritage Site, which means it's protected by international law because of how important it is.
As it should be.
Exactly. Yep. And another famous cave that I just have to get into is called Son Doong Cave.
Oh.
This one's in Vietnam, and it's the largest cave in the world. It's a national park in Vietnam, and that translates to Mountain River Cave. And this cave is huge. There's underground rivers, rainforests, and it has its own ecosystem.
Rainforest?
There's it has its own rainforest.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So it has its own rivers, rainforests, and ecosystems?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yup. And local legends also say that the cave was once a home to a giant dragon spirit.
Honestly, I mean, could have.
It
It could have.
The mist and the echoes is what people were like, I think this is a dragon's lair.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I mean,
No.
without like knowing so much about like science or history or whatever, if you lived near that, of course you would think that there's something way more mystical going on. So,
Yeah.
I mean, but who are we to say otherwise?
Right. And I like to make comparisons so that we can get that visual perspective, but you could park a Boeing 747 in this cave and still have some wiggle room.
Dang.
The U.S. Capitol could comfortably fit in it, And then a 40-story skyscraper could also fit in there. But the Empire State Building, that's too tall.
Okay.
But if it were to lay on its side,
Really?
then it could fit.
We could build apartments in this cave.
Exactly. This cave is definitely livable in.
Interesting.
And so how this was formed was what I mentioned at the beginning. The limestone, the rain. So it's said to take 2 to 5 million years for this cave to be created.
Wow.
And there's 2 large rivers that take credit for creating it. Like the water was able to carve this thing out was because there were fault lines, what's called fault lines, and those are just cracks. And so the water, like the raindrops would just go in and just... So it just started to create this river through these cracks.
Right, like the same way we're talking about with the carbonic acid and stuff, and erosion through time.
Right, it's
right?
just something... Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
And it just takes a lot of time, but it created this whole thing. And so eventually those water drops going down these fault lines, they turn into a river. So at some point, 2 parts of the cave's roof, it falls in, and these collapses are called dolines.
Doling, 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 doling.
I'm begging you, please don't
Collapse my roof.
collapse my cave. Well, it did. They're pretty much sinkholes, and so it created this skylight, letting like the sunlight come in.
So we weren't sure when this collapse happened, right? Because this all happened before we even knew about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Not only rainfall could get in, but dirt, leaves, rocks, seeds, and there's a little bit of wind coming in too. And plants were able to live and die and start to decompose, like to create this nutrient-rich soil. So the cave started to create just this perfect and natural environment for this like entirely new ecosystem.
That's wild.
And so it has plants, bugs, birds, and even monkeys.
Yeah, this is not like any caves that we went to go see.
Yeah. No, this is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And so the skylight also brings warm air, which meets the moist air from the rain and the jungle, and then the cold air from the cave floor. And all of that created condensation, resulting in clouds. And since the cave is just so large, these clouds have room to form and become.
That's so crazy. It is. It's like a little terrarium.
It is.
Wow.
It is. It's so cool. They call it the Garden of Eden, the jungle.
Yeah.
Because of just how breathtaking it is. And just like the Mammoth Cave, it's also a World Heritage Site. So it's international law
Good.
protected.
Good.
And Vietnam provides tours of these caves, and there's only one tour business that's authorized to operate them, and it's called Oxalis Adventures. And it costs $3,000 per person.
Yeah.
And before you say that's too expensive, I will sell it to you right now.
Okay, sell it to me.
Because it's a good deal, especially if you're crazy about nature, such as you yourself, Katie.
I was gonna say, like, I'm already like 60% on board. Like,
Yes.
like give me that other 40%. That way I can convince, convince my boyfriend to come along too. And be like, listen, this is the pitch I want to give him.
And it's also linked in the show notes, so if any of you listeners are interested,
Yeah.
go and check it out. So per the Oxalis website,
Okay.
the 3,000 ticket includes all the transportation, including pickup and drop off at the airport,
Nice.
accommodations for the first and last night of the tour at a hotel, and then 3 nights in between are in the cave.
Oh wow! Wait, you get to stay in the cave?
Yes. You are going to be down there for like 3 or 4 nights.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is it like camping or like
It's camping. It's
Yeah.
trekking, hiking, camping, rock climbing.
fun?
So, they provide all the safety and camping equipment. So helmets, harnesses, headlights, tents, and pillows, like the mattresses, like they make sure you're comfortable.
That's awesome.
And they provide people, or well, they call them porters, who will carry all of your belongings for you. So you're not like
So-
lugging all
yeah.
this stuff around.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then all meals
There you go.
are
That's
provided. All meals are provided.
That's awesome. That's enough for me to be sold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your food and accommodations, that's already,
You get an assistant to carry all your crap
yeah.
and food.
Yep.
Well, what are we eating? Maybe I
So-
should ask that.
They will actually prepare for you, and they bring like chefs, and they're coming along, and they're making you hot Vietnamese coffee and tea. eggs, steamed rice, fried rice. Yeah, I'm hungry now.
Yes.
Spring rolls. Can you imagine after a long day of trekking?
Yeah.
And they have it under like the skylight.
Wow.
Because I think there's 2 different skylights, and then after a full day of trekking, they'll stop, and then everybody together
That's awesome.
will like sit and talk and eat. And just, can you imagine the Vietnamese pho at the end of the day?
Oh my god.
And it's just like,
yeah.
so everybody eats together and gets to know one another during these rest stops. And they also make sure they give you like your filtered water and the electrolytes you need.
Can you imagine meeting somebody there and you're like, we met in a cave in Vietnam? I almost went down.
I would make it a travel destination and say, everybody, please come to my wedding in
Oh,
Sunburned
right.
Cave.
Destination wedding. Exactly. Catering and seating.
And then it also includes travel insurance.
Okay.
So,
Fair.
I mean, that's good. You know, that's a really good deal. And during this whole expedition, you do jungle hiking,
Okay.
river crossings, camping, and climbing. So, you should be somewhat fit to do this, but also, too, some people go to be fit to help with their journey on,
Right.
you know, weight loss and stuff like that.
I always think that that's like a brave approach, is to be like, you know what, the fit will come after. I'll just push myself.
And you're paying $3,000, so you kind of really got to
You have to do it, yeah. But if there are any people who are doubting their fitness beforehand and want to relinquish a spot, I will gladly come in. I'll start training today.
And you'll see animals with like no eyes and no color because they've been living in the dark.
Are these animals like totally new species?
Yes. And they're still trying to discover, because this cave was just discovered in 1990. But in 2009, they were able to see that it was the largest cave in the world.
Oh, okay.
So,
Wow.
yes.
So this cave is truly, I mean, it's much, much older than us, but it is roughly around the same age of like, you know, in Discovery.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
It's only been around for our lifetime.
So they found out it was there in 1990.
Okay.
And then they finally were like, wait a minute, this is actually a big deal in 2009.
I wonder why it took so long to realize it was a big deal.
So they're still discovering all these new animals and stuff that are just down there.
That's insane. How come I've never heard of these animals that were, you know, and I'm like somebody that gets into the world of like animal species and stuff. But, so it's just completely new species that can't see. Are these like flying animals? Are these crawling animals? Like what are they, like mammals, reptiles?
So far, it's all of them. They can't see, they're blind, so they use their other senses. And I think too, I read somewhere too how like the monkeys came to be because some of these animals could have fallen through the skylight.
Damn.
And then that was it.
Yeah. Like, well, I guess this is where we live now. Oh wow.
And so this trip is very exclusive, only 1,000 visitors per year.
Okay.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
carbon footprint.
Yeah.
And 10 people per tour.
Okay.
So that's only 100 tours per year between January to August. So it's not year round because of the weather.
Okay.
Yeah, in Vietnam,
season.
yep, monsoon
Okay.
season.
Okay.
So I looked at the booking site, and the next tour isn't available until January 2027.
Okay. That
So
gives
if
me
you
enough
want to
time.
go,
Yeah.
we do have time.
Yeah, we
I
had
can
time.
wait till 2028, 2029.
Right. I
So
can
maybe
see-
next
yeah.
year,
Yeah.
we'll just come up with 3,000.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Visitors of the cave, they said that it's humbling and like standing in the cathedral of the earth.
Oh wow, I love that.
Yeah, and people who aren't even tied to religion, they're like, this changed me inside.
Really?
This gave me immense emotions
Oh.
being in this cave. And we can't forget that we need to preserve things like this.
Right.
I mean, it's great that we can explore these things, but preserving it is really important. So,
And I bet it feels like the beginning of the natural world that we live in today, because I mean, there's so many parts of this earth that have been developed, and especially like where most humans live are in developed areas, I would say. That like this must feel so special and sacred to have like a slice of just like hardly touched jungle ecosystem, you know, like that's such a gift. So how interesting that like this is like truly the womb of the earth, like the birthplace
for sure.
of life as we know it, you know?
Yup, and this is newly discovered. So scientists are going in there and they're trying to find new microorganisms to help with like improving antibiotics, healing cancer, hopefully.
It's so exciting that we can still discover new things on this earth. Like, you would think that for as long as we've been around, I mean, even in our first few episodes when we talk about, the early explorers like Magellan and everything, like,
Exactly.
we think of that as like so long ago and we're like, oh, well, they've already done it all, but there's still, you never know. Like,
Exactly. There's still things to be discovered.
right.
So, although caves can be breathtaking and fascinating, and this goes without saying, but it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So this happened between June to July of 2018 in Thailand. And these 12 boys their ages ranged from 11 to 16, along with their assistant coach. They were in this junior football team, but here in the US we call it soccer, called the Wild Boars. They decided to go exploring in this cave, and while they were in there, this heavy monsoon rain comes in and floods the cave, which ended up blocking their exit. And it just kept pushing them further and further into the cave, like more than 2 miles in.
You said this was in Thailand?
This is in Thailand.
Okay,
Yep,
cool.
we're going to Thailand.
Okay, gotcha. So you said that they were just exploring this cave?
So apparently what they said was that after practice, they wanted to explore this cave and celebrate one of the kids' birthdays.
Oh, okay.
So the name of this cave is Tham Luang.
Tham Luang.
Yep, and it translates to Great Cave or Great Cave of the Sleeping Lady.
Oh.
I love these mystery
Yeah, me too.
names they give to these
The
caves.
caves are always a home to something.
Yes!
I love that it's like a dragon spirit, a sleeping lady, but it's never like just a regular dude lives here.
Yeah, so I appreciate these names they're giving to these
Yeah,
caves.
the Garden of Eden, all of it. That's interesting.
And these are appropriate names, a
Yeah.
sleeping lady.
I love it. And just for the record, as a lady, I do need a whole cave to sleep in.
Yep. And so, meanwhile, above ground, the head coach of the team started to receive calls from the parents. And they're like, "Where's my kid?"
Right.
Yeah. And so he tries to reach out to Coach Eck, who is the assistant coach, and no response.
Oh, no.
So there was one kid in the group that was like, "I'm not going." So he decides to stay behind and skip the cave exploration, goes home. And so the head coach reaches out to him. He's like, "Have you heard from them?" And he's like, "They were going in this cave last I saw." So the head coach goes there and he sees that the boys left their stuff outside this cave, and then he sees, oh no, like it's literally underwater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he sees that it's completely flooded, and so he calls the authorities, and they have these divers and police officers and volunteers, like the military, the Thai military, among other military from other countries, Navy SEALs, they all come in to help save these boys and their coach.
Wow.
They're trying to pump water out, and they also had a plan around monsoons. They have to come up with a plan to get these boys out. And so they use a rope system. And so they got the divers going in there, they got the rope, and they're trying to navigate through where these boys are. And so along with them, they have like energy gels, some oxygen tanks, and like other supplies to kind of hold them until they can actually like get them out. And so the divers get in there, and the diver was like, these boys are calm.
Yeah.
And they weren't in a panic. And one of the divers says, when we found them, we were amazed at how calm they were. It wasn't what we expected. They didn't panic. And that's because of Coach Eck. And Coach Eck, the story with him is that he used to be a Buddhist monk.
Wow.
And he grew up as an orphan in a monastery until he left once he got older to like pursue something else. And according to the boys, Coach Eck taught them techniques to keep calm while they were trapped. So when you meditate and practice mindfulness, it helps slow your breathing and your heart rate. And that helps with the already low amount of oxygen in the cave. Because they're breathing that oxygen in and,
right. So literally, like you mentioned before, the caves can be breathtaking. It's genuinely because
it literally is breathtaking and breathtaking. Yep. So it manages your fear and it keeps you focused. And the training that Coach Egg had passed on to the boys is called Vipassana meditation.
Oh, wow. I didn't know there was like a different types.
And it means insight meditation.
Okay. Tell me
I know.
more.
It
Tell
goes,
me more.
It goes into this. So I'm going to go off on a little tangent before I finish the story.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to explain.
Okay.
And Coach Eck, he was a Buddhist monk.
Yeah.
And Buddhism, among other cultures and belief, they use caves to meditate in.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
And in Thailand itself, they build temples in the caves to practice meditation in solitude and discipline because caves are silent. And they believe you should listen rather than speak. And they believe that there's a spiritual power living in these caves.
Yeah.
And they are considered places for rebirth and becoming clean and new. So monks, they practice in caves. So this isn't the first.
Yeah, this ain't their first
Coach
rodeo.
Eck, he's like, nah, I got this.
He's like, oh, we're just at the monastery. No problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so he teaches them, and I'm going to cycle back to our last episode when, Kayleen, you talked about water memory.
Yeah.
And caves preserve fossils and prehistoric art and many other things.
Okay.
And it even has air and climate data from ancient times.
Really?
Which is crazy.
Interesting. That is interesting.
Yep. And just like a mother's womb, it holds data of everything within it. And that's how caves are seen in other cultures, that's how they see it.
I love that.
So caves
That
are...
is such a great metaphor. And not only just metaphor, but fact in a way. Like, the comparison is so wonderful. And there's science backing to this whole concept of women basically keeping the cells of their fetus, of every fetus they've ever held, in their uterus. So basically during pregnancy, cells from both the mother and the fetus cross that placenta and enter, the other's body. So like they're just exchanging all that information. And that DNA lives in a mom forever. Like, even if, unfortunately, even when babies do not make it past, like, birth or anything like that as well, like, they're still going to be in the mother's body. And so that's called microchimerism, to do a little bit more research. But, so it's just interesting that, that all of that is data that is stored in the mother's womb, and in her body. And that's, like, a lot of the reason why mothers have, like, intuition about their kids and stuff, because, like, those cells are connecting, which, going back to our water episode for a hot second, like, our waters are communicating, our waters are talking. Like, it's so interesting that the cave also really resembles, like, a womb in this scenario.
Yes. Yeah. It's carrying the DNA of the earth. Just like, it holds all that history. So it is the earth's womb.
Yeah. I love that. The womb of the earth.
The womb of the earth. So Coach Eck used this to help the boys get through, being trapped in this cave. And he taught them not to think about food. He told them to think about your family waiting for you out there, and he also, with the little food and water, because they still had like some snacks, I guess, of him. Coach Ed didn't take any of it. He's like, you all eat it. The water they had was from like the drips, from the cave.
Oh, I see.
And so he just chose to not take any for himself. And so they figured out a way to get the boys out. They had to be sedated, because they got to go through all this underwater,
like
tunnels.
Yeah.
And, they had like the rope, and then the diver the boy would be attached, like strapped to the diver.
Okay.
And then they're just like
a tandem diving situation. Okay.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
And they had to go one at a time. Okay. And so it took time. Like, it took 3 hours, apparently, to get back and forth, And Coach Eck was the weakest of them all. And the boys were like, no, you go first. You're weak. You've got to get out there. And he's like, no, get the boys first. He was like, don't even touch me until all these boys are through.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so one of the rescuers said the fact that they were so calm helped the sedation work.
Wow.
And that kind of mindfulness probably saved their lives. Yeah. And so the boys had to be sedated with horse tranquilizer ketamine. Damn. And we're here to have some chisme. And there was a little drama going on during this time. So while this rescue mission was taking place, Tesla tycoon Elon Musk, he shows up. He literally goes to Thailand. He's like at the cave, and he's like, hey. He offers some assistance with the rescue, and he offers this kid-sized submarine that his company, Tesla, built. And maybe that will get the boys out. And he's like, you don't have to use it. You can keep it. But, I'll show you what it can do. And this British cave explorer, his name's Vern Unsworth, he was the guy that helped recruit divers, like, all over the world to help rescue these boys. So he was really putting in the work, to rescue them. And he said, no, that's not practical. It can't go through, like, the twists and turns of the cave. Like, it's not just, like, a one-way shot.
Right.
It's not like that.
Right. So I'm assuming that Elon has not himself explored this cave or, like...
No, he just thought, oh, let's build a submarine.
Right.
And Vern Unsworth, he was like, this is just a publicity stunt. And you can stick the submarine where it hurts.
Damn.
Okay, ouch. And so Musk calls him a pedophile in response to that, which is a major accusation. And this ends up in court, and Unsworth sues Musk for, defamation. But Elon ended up winning the case. But after getting backlash from all his followers, Elon eventually apologized.
How did he win the case?
So, yeah, exactly.
What
So
in the world?
I guess it's like the whole libel, or like the laws and stuff. Like, oh, no, he didn't, No, he didn't. But the jury actually decided that, too.
So there wasn't enough information to prove that that's what he called him? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because Elon posts and then he deletes when he regrets posting. We see it. If it's on there, we see it immediately.
It's the equivalent of, like, saying something under your breath, and you're like, wait, what'd you say?
Yep.
It's like, didn't you say that?
Yeah, I didn't call him a pedophile.
Yeah, it's a PDF file.
That's really good. So, as for the boys and Coach Eck, Coach Eck, he felt very apologetic for putting the boys in danger like that. He felt bad. He was like, I shouldn't have let those boys go in there. He's like, that's my fault. But the boys do credit him for their survival. They said that the meditation techniques he taught them helped them get through it.
Wow.
And then, unfortunately, 2 men died from the rescue. One died from drowning while delivering oxygen tanks.
Oh my gosh.
I know, which is horrible. He was a Navy SEAL. He was a Thai Navy SEAL, too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and another one died from, like, a blood infection he acquired from it. So, in honor of them, the coach and the boys were ordained as monks for a while. And in Thai culture, this is a way to honor the dead and show spiritual gratitude. Aww. Yeah, I thought that was really sweet.
That is really sweet. I just, like, love how much, like, respect and honor is in this culture. So understanding, like, like the coach being like, absolutely not, I'm not going to take anything away from these kids. And then meanwhile, like, the soccer players, like the kids, have so much respect in regard to their coach and everything. But
like the Western culture, they're like, what is he doing during, like, monsoon season? Well, there is a sign in front of the cave that says do not go in from July to August, I think. Or to November or something. Okay. But they were there in June. This happened in June. So this was a month. This monsoon came in a month early.
So so this wasn't even really predicted, and this was just kind of a freak sequence of events, and it's really unfortunate the lives lost and everything, and just the scare of these, like, that these kids had to go through and everything. But but life isn't about just, like, preventing all bad things and then freaking out as soon as something bad happens. It's like you kind of have to just go with it, like, roll with the punches. And and I don't know, it just, I definitely have lived my life more in accordance to the idea of, like, explore and enjoy life and be present and just, like, actually live. And then from there, figure out how to problem solve. But I don't know. You're right, though. There is a Western culture that is very much about preventative. I mean, we're the kings and queens of insurance here. We are. Seriously. Everything is in a reaction to, like, just the culture of which that you liability culture. Yeah.
And it's sadly to say, too, it makes sense on the other side, too, because people are so happy. Yeah. And, and everything is other people's fault.
And these kids learned, I mean, look at the positives. These kids learn meditation techniques. They probably are much stronger individuals because of it. Because
they can use it for anything.
But just knowing that they dedicated time and efforts and energy to committing to being a monk, like, in honor of these 2 people that help save their lives. I don't know. I'm not saying that, like, that takes away the pain of that loss or anything like that, but it does show that these boys took some accountability and responsibility for what what was sacrificed for their lives.
Right. And also, too, what I read over, these boys were so humble that they were trying to think of the order of who goes first.
Yeah.
They were thinking of who lives the farthest away, because they're like, you go first because you live far away, because I got to ride my bike home.
Oh.
And they were like, I thought I was just going to ride my bike home. And like, it's like,
You're like, Mom, Dad, you're earthly, what happened?
hey, I'm home, sorry, I'm late.
Right.
No, they thought that they just, once we're rescued, we're gonna go home now, even though it's been like 2 weeks.
Right.
Still in this cave. They just didn't realize how much of an impact, and them being stranded in this cave.
I mean, it seems like there's still so much left to uncover, but like, I've learned a lot in this cave conversation, but primarily the Sundong cave in Vietnam. Yeah, we definitely want to try to go. We definitely want to try to go. But this kind of transitions us into our next episode again. Like, we are going to be talking about plants. I'm going to talk about how intelligent they might be and so much other stuff. So I'm really excited, but this just gives the whole new perspective of how interesting caves are and how they have like the basic foundations of life. And I think that's super interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, like all the ingredients,
Exactly.
So we are adding this segment in post-production because I forgot to ask the question you all have been dying to know. Kayleen, what zodiac sign do you think caves would be?
I'm so glad you asked. So every time you walk into a cave, I want you all to think about this. They are probably Cancers. And the reason why is we've talked about all these different caves, but the ones that stand out the most to me that I'm latching onto is was it the Sundong cave with the rainforest and the rivers? That we mentioned that it had all the ingredients for life. Water creates caves, and just kind of like we mentioned in the Smart Waters episode, Cancers dwell on where the emotion meets the sea, like they're on the shore. So I feel like caves could be like a similar vibe, right? And they're also the mothers of the zodiac. And so when you have all the ingredients for life, I just immediately think of mothers, like Mother Nature. So yeah, I'm going to say that caves are Cancers. And if y'all have any other thoughts or opinions, put in the comment section.
So Cancers, yes. You are similar to caves.
Yeah, dark.
Take that to the bank.
And full of life, yes.
Thank you all so much for listening. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification button. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. We post every other Thursday with all sorts of topics to gossip about. And as always, keep gossiping!